Here we have 42 AR-15 magazines, and they're all loaded with 223 ammunition. Yes, we're gonna be shooting bullets at them to see how bulletproof they are. So let's take a look at what we're gonna be slinging at these AR-15 magazines. We're actually gonna skip the 22, because I don't think it's gonna do much damage. Then we have that 380 auto right there, 9mm, 5.56, 7.62 by 39, which is gonna be coming out of the AK. 308, the biggest and fastest, has the best chance of penetration. Let me show you how we're gonna set this up. These AR-15 mags we have are polymer Amend 2 magazines, and we got them all from Durkin Tactical, so massive thank you to Durkin Tactical for sending me 40 magazines. And when Amend 2 heard what I was doing with these magazines, they said they would replace every single magazine I destroyed. So this right here is the beam that I was digging out of the snow. I popped it up on this steel target, which might seem kind of sketchy, but we're not gonna be shooting this close. We're gonna be backing it way the heck up, because with what's inside these, I don't wanna be anywhere near them. Here we've got the first set of magazines. Each batch is 5. Personally, I don't think there's gonna be any round that we have that will make it through all of them, but I think they are gonna do a lot of damage. Let's stack them up. Okay, we got just a few more to go. That right there is 40. Try popping this one on the end, and that is 41, 42. Now I have brought this massive piece of cardboard with me, and this is gonna help us show where we're hitting. I'm expecting that some of these guns aren't perfectly sighted in, so when we miss, we'll see exactly how much we missed by. This will just help us adjust. Plus, it'll help us see any shrapnel in case all of this just blows sky high. Now that we have this all set up, it's time to get shooting. I really don't know what to expect. I've seen some people run these tests with metal magazines, and the cartridges catch on fire, which wouldn't be good for polymer because we'd get burning plastic downrange. So this is going to be interesting. I'm also curious to see if the polymer is just going to get a hole punched in it, or if they are going to just explode and shrapnel is going to go everywhere. Highly possible that in warmer weather it might punch a hole, but in cold weather it could just crumble the whole magazine. So it's going to be interesting to see what we get. So this 380 auto we're shooting is actually slightly smaller than a 9mm, but it does still pack a punch. And let me show you what we're going to be shooting it out of. It's going to be the Burst of Thunder. Now, this one is very interesting. It has a very weird recoil impulse that comes straight into the back of your hand, and it does take some getting used to. But it is a very fun gun, and it feels very classic. If you look right here, it is straight blowback. That barrel is not moving at all. It's totally flush right there. It even has a magazine disconnect so that if the magazine is out, you cannot pull the trigger. The magazine has to go in before the trigger can be pulled. Burst of Thunder, firing. Let's go see the results. This is nuts. You guys gotta see this. I'm very surprised that with iron sights at about, let's say 35 yards, that was a lucky shot. So take a look. We hit the front and it peeled through the back. Then it went into that second stack, but the question is how far? And this one, it definitely pulled a lot of the plastic through because it's kind of in there filling the hole. And I can see in here, it looks like it left a lot of the jacket from the bullet, because it is a full metal jacket. And a bunch of that is still in there, but it did break into the next round. And here we have that first stack right here. Kind of hard to see down there, but it definitely damaged this first one, but it did not go into the second one. Honestly, that's a lot more than I was expecting. You can hear it rattling in there. That might even be the bullet. So 380 auto went through exactly 2 magazines. Now it's time to go grab the 9mm. And this gun is the Canik Mete MC9. So Canik essentially took their other guns, turned it into a carry gun, so you get the trigger of their competition guns inside something that you bring with you every day. As you can see, this is optics ready. This is the FDE version. It even comes standard with an extended magazine. Overall, a gun I very much like, and I will be carrying it once I get a little bit more practice with it. Remember, always practice with the guns you carry. Oh, and because it comes with a holster, it makes carrying it so much easier, which is a really great idea from Canik. Canik Mete MC9, firing. What damage did we get from the 9mm? High left. It was a new gun, still getting used to that one. But what we're seeing here is crazy. It zipped through this first magazine, leaving much less of a dent because I think it had more momentum, and it even left a smaller exit, the 9mm did, rather than the 380 auto. Take a look at this on the ground. I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but there's flecks of what look like vanilla and ice cream, but that is actually rifle cartridge gunpowder. And here you can see 2 rounds actually popped out. And these 2 rounds that popped out are actually still perfectly good. So I think the force just sort of ejected them. Take a look at this one. You can see that that round was totally dented. I would not try firing that. Look at this cartridge. It is pulverized. This cartridge absolutely got destroyed. And then in my hand, I have two 22 bullets and our 9mm in question. Surprisingly, this first magazine is still good to go right in the front because the rounds aren't actually leaving. They're still all in there. As long as we hit a different spot, it'll be acting just the same. Now time for the 223. Okay, here's what we've got. Not seeing any shrapnel off to the side here, but this first magazine took a hit right down here. It definitely spewed some rounds out because it hit right here, but the bullet that it hit is actually a little bit higher up, meaning that they all shifted up as they sprayed out the top. You guys can probably see better with the slow-mo. That's our first one, absolutely decimated. We have 3 on the ground. This one seems to be fine. Same with this one right here, and 3 that are actually totally intact. But this second one got totally slammed. Man, these things are tough. If you look at this second magazine, you can see it punched out the side where all the lead bullets are. That is the toughest part when you're hitting into the real lead. But I can't even tell of these 3 magazines which one was behind it, and it definitely had a big impact. If you look really closely, you can see bits of jacket. I think that bullet just got absolutely shredded. And if you shake this thing, it's literally just powder pouring out. Man, if we hit one of these primers, there's gonna be a little bit of a fire downrange. It's a good thing we're far away. Okay, let's set these up again. They should be good for a round 2. And I did originally have them all taped so they wouldn't go flying all over the place, but I have a feeling the amount of force that gets imparted when these bullets hit is a lot more than the strength of the duct tape I've used to tape them together. I do not know what's gonna happen when we get up to 308 or even the 12 gauge slug. I think that 12 gauge slug is gonna send all of these flying. I think that 223 might have just been so small that it only went through 2. Let's go to the AK-47. Yes, this banana mag is my favorite part. That AK-47 slammed these magazines and did way more damage than that 223. First one here. Looks like that AK-47 round went a little bit high left, but it still hit perfectly fine. Closer to all the primers. Hit a lot closer to all those primers, and I'm surprised it didn't ignite anything. Okay, so looking at that second magazine, I was wrong. We hit a little bit low, so we're hitting a bundle of springs down there, which absolutely chewed into this second magazine. Chewed into the third and fourth one so bad. Check out this 5th one. It absolutely blasted that spring out. These rounds are just waiting to come pouring out. 6 didn't stand a chance either. I guess that low hit where there are no bullets and it's just a bunch of spring is a lot weaker. So I don't know if this accurately says how many the AK-47 would have went through, but we know it wouldn't have gone through 40 because it stopped at number 6. Here's that 6th one, and the 7th one is rather dented and maybe a little bit scraped, but it would function just fine, whereas this one, it literally looks like those bullets are gonna come pouring out any second. Since we didn't blow up these magazines hitting that low shot, they should be good for another hit, but we are gonna bump it up to 308 this time, and I think that is going to go through quite a few more, and these things are gonna blow apart. We're gonna have bullets everywhere. This guy does not look like he would be having a fun day. Take a look at those shrapnel wounds. He is absolutely peppered. But before we bump it up to 308, let's try and get a legitimate shot on target with that AK-47. Yes, it's gonna destroy a lot more magazines and a lot more ammo than I want to, but I want a solid answer as to how many that AK-47 can go through. So we're gonna hit it up at the top where the bullets and rounds actually are. Okie dokie, that absolutely smashed. We hit higher exactly where all the rounds are. Tons more rounds to add to the graveyard, and some magazines we actually won't be able to use for a future test. It slammed into this mag right here, totally blew it out the other side, which is actually very surprising. That's 1, 2, 3, finding another one all the way off here with a spring that's sticking out, 4, 5, and 6. And then it stopped for real this time. Time for the 308. And I'm not even gonna set up these dead magazines because they will not hold up and they won't show us anything valuable or important. So let's just go for all the magazines that are left. Even more carnage here, man. Thank you to Durkin Tactical for sending me these magazines because this would be freaking expensive. So give Durkin Tactical the welcome and the thank you they deserve for doing this. This is crazy. Hit a little bit low on this one. You can see all those rounds popping out, but it only went 1 deep into this stack and decimated this stack as well. It was going through those springs, but it actually didn't make it as far as I thought for just hitting these springs. We maybe went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 with a 308. If you guys want me to test this with a 50 BMG, make sure to subscribe for more. So here's the answer for you. We destroyed a lot of magazines in this process, but to stop a 308, you need 7 magazines. It looks like what I've got here, 1 won't cut it, except for I have my plate carrier, which would do the trick. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Civilian Tactical out.